share your good fortune," he said. "I've kept my eye on you for some time now. Such a happy chance that brought us both to California after the war, and happier yet for me that you and your husband are so industrious and well-connected. What I want is little enough to ensure the continued good health of little Lexy, the twins and their father, not to mention Boston Thane and his family." A shudder of horror went through her at his specific mentions of her family, and Mark felt it. "Oh yes, I've watched them all," he said. "It would be impossible to keep them all safe." Then, with sudden urgency, he rapped out his instructions. 2 weeks from today, before the noon hour, at the Russ House in San Francisco, $5,000. Come alone. Watch the race for proof of what I can do." As quickly as he had appeared at her side, he was gone. She caught only a glimpse of him as he melted into the crowd that was surging forward to have a closer look at the race about to begin. It seemed to be happening very slowly, the horses leaping forward to run the first-mile heat for the 3 out of 5 that would win the race. She saw their own 3-year-old colt, Goldfire, gleaming bright chestnut. He seemed to get off to a good start, but then he swerved madly, causing one of the other horses to jump and stumble in its attempt to get out of the way before it regained its footing and went on. But Goldfire was totally out of control and veered toward the inside rail, crashing through it and going down with a high-pitched scream that sounded over the shocked gasps of the spectators. "Oh, Christ!" Only at the sound of his voice did Jinsey realize that Travis had appeared at her side, and then he was crossing the railings, running toward the fallen horse and rider. Jinsey stood absolutely still. Mark had done this, or caused it to be done. Goldfire had been drugged. She was sure of it. She felt cold seeping into the marrow of her bones. It was murderous proof of what Mark could do to her family. Tommy, the jockey, was shaken and bruised, but otherwise all right physically. But he was distraught over the colt and kept murmuring, "I couldn't hold him, just couldn't hold him." There was no question of saving the colt. His right foreleg was badly broken, and he was screaming and struggling to get up. As soon as the track was cleared, Travis put a bullet through Goldfire's brain. Their head trainer Malachi did not try to hide the tears in his eyes. "He was excited before the race, but he always was. I should have known this was different." "You couldn't have known," Jinsey said, thinking that Mark was too clever to be found out, but feeling compelled to ask anyway. "Was anyone near Goldfire right before the race? Any stranger?" Malachi shook his head. "Only the usual, but the usual means a lot of people. Jockeys, trainers, owners, some of the crowd. You think that—" His question trailed away as he contemplated the idea of someone tampering with the horse. It was not unheard of, but it was rare, usually involving heavy betting, and it was a method despised by every honest horseman. Malachi was as honest as his father had been, and his father had been Samson, shot dead by Mark. Travis studied Jinsey's set face. He did not reject her intimation that someone had interfered with Goldfire, but, like Malachi, he could think of no reason it might have been done. "The betting on these races just isn't that great," he said. "It doesn't make sense, but anyone would go to such lengths to stop Goldfire." Jinsey wished she had not wanted to know how Mark had committed the crime. She didn't want Travis or the others to suspect that she knew it had been done and who was behind it. The evidence of Mark's continued savagery lay before her. Although the colt had only been dead for minutes, already it seemed as if the red fire in his coat was fading. And the victim could have been Travis, or one of the children, or Boston, or Rachel, or the Thane's son Caden, or— the list of people Jinsey loved was too long. The days of dissembling had begun. Mark was her curse, hers to deal with. "I suspect I just want a reason for this," she said, her voice trembling. "Goldfire was too fine to die this way, but at least none of the riders and none of their horses was killed." With effort she put more strength into her words. "Tommy, Malachi, neither of you is to blame yourself. We all know this is a dangerous sport."